Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the McGonagall Boxing Podcast. So I just wanted to review the Ryan Garcia performance because I know he's getting a lot of stick recently, last couple of days, for that performance he had on Saturday night against Tagoe. I don't know it was that bad, if I'm being honest with you. He won every round, shutout victory, floored Tagoe early on in the second round, had him buzzing notably times, nearly had him out and again in the seventh, but what I would say is I think he tired. That was evident when I watched it. He looked like he slowed down his output and his speed, and he struggled to close Tagoe down effectively towards 8, 9, 10, 11. I think the last 3 rounds weren't great, to be honest with you, and I think Tagoe started then, because Garcia was starting to tire a little bit, which is a little bit worrying at 23 years old. He shouldn't really be doing that, but he has had 16 months out the ring, of course, of injury and other issues. But Tagoe was starting to land a few with Garcia, and that's something I would be very careful about with Garcia. That obviously he's an aggressive fighter, come forward fighter, pressure fighter, but he got caught by Campbell, didn't he? Got timed leaning in. So as he leans in with his right hand, he can be basically puts all his body weight, and literally someone off the ropes can spring forward and unleash a cork of a right hand. It could knock him out. I think he has to be careful when he fights. Maybe not Haney. I think Haney could counter him a lot though, but I don't think he's going to knock him out. But if you see some of the big punches like even Teofimo Lopez, that I would be careful fighting him in that stance. Just got to be wary of that, Garcia, because he did get caught a little bit towards the end, and his output and his speed, like I said, slowed down, which would be a concern. But I think he won. For me, it was a shutout victory. He bossed the fight, the tempo of the fight, and Tagoe, let's be honest, came to spoil. He didn't come to do much more, did he? But survive. He was on the back foot, running, hiding, holding. So it made for a bit of an ugly fight, and there wasn't much coming back besides maybe a few in the last couple of rounds when Tagoe realised he was probably going to survive and his confidence came up. But, Emmanuel Tagoe was a gatekeeper. He's nothing more than that. So it was a good kind of what I call tune-up fight for Garcia, who, of course, will go on to bigger and better things. But, Tagoe's ranked 9th, and that's about right, isn't it, on the, in the IBF. And the WBO, WBA, he's 9th cross board, and that's about right. He's 32-2, but really, I mean, if you're looking at it, he's fringe world level. So it was a good tune-up fight for Garcia. Obviously, Tagoe, tough Ghanaian. Built with strong stuff, wasn't going to go anywhere, determined to survive. Basically, that's what he came to do, and he did do. But I think Garcia, was defended himself. There was a few boos at the end of the fight, wasn't there? But I think he needs to, not, like I say, be too hard on himself, but also be appreciative. Okay, I need to improve this, I need to improve that. A little bit one-dimensional as well. He needs to sort of unlock the key a little bit more rather than just coming forward. I think you're starting to run out of ideas. I think he needs to set more traps, maybe invite fighters to come onto him a little bit more and then time them, rather than just being a one-trick pony, just trying to pressure him coming forward all the time. Because as you see against Tagoe, that wasn't happening. But I think his hand of speed's there, but I don't think, like I say, the conditioning was there. Seems to have lost a little bit of a spite, like I say, late on as well. So you have to wonder if leaving the Canelo camp is going to, and obviously Renato is going to affect him. It's too early to say right now, but it wasn't one of his best performances. But I think on the grand scheme of things, you have to put it in perspective. And I think ultimately, he will get better than that. He'll be more. He'll improve, he'll develop, but he needs to fight more regularly now. There's no question about that. If he doesn't, then he could be in trouble. But I rate him. I definitely rate him. And I think he's still, for me, top 5, easily top 5. But yeah, it's going to be interesting now, isn't it? Moving forward, I think one thing I think is evident is he's still developing, he's still improving. I think Lomachenko's, for me, still the best in that division, the lightweights, and I think, Haney will be difficult for him, but he can beat Haney. I think they're both developing fighters. But overall I'd give that a 7 out of 10 performance. I don't think it was his best performance, like I've said, but it wasn't terrible. An awkward fighter who I think would take many fighters the distance, Tagoe. Spoiling kind of style. I think Lomachenko, though, would get him out there. I think he's got different keys, different tools, different variety in his punches to unlock Tagoe, who could definitely have been stopped. But Garcia needs to work on that, a little bit more variety. I think he needs to develop his left hand a little bit more as well. He knows his right hand's aggressive, but I think the left hand is there as well. He could develop that bit more of a weapon, and he can, I think he can still get a little bit more punch power as well, get a bit more out of his powers, a bit more sting. I mean, it's fantastic hand speed, like I say, but, I think he can get a little bit more sting, and obviously down the home stretch improve his cardio and punch output, because, like I say, Tagoe was there to be stopped at any round in that fight on Saturday, and I think that's why the crowd were a little bit disappointed with Garcia. They come to see stoppage, they come to see an explosive, exciting young fighter, and it wasn't his most exciting fighter, but I wouldn't be too harsh. Long way to go. I still think Garcia is easily, like I say, top 5, possibly top 4, possibly top 3. But I think he needs 1 or 2 more tune-up fights, especially with his new trainer, and then he needs clearly to get a world title shot. Who's that against? Maybe it's Haney. Maybe it's against Kambosos if he beats Haney. But one of them two, I would say, certainly end of the year for Garcia. He needs to get things moving and, move on from there. But overall, 7 out of 10 for Garcia. Not as bad as some people are saying, but obviously definitely room for improvement. As for Tagoe, I think he goes back to being a gatekeeper now. It'll be a good fight for Haney. He'll probably ironically target it next after giving Garcia a stick. Kambosos, Lomachenko, all these kind of fighters that are looking to keep busy, I think, and anyone who's up and coming will have to go through Tagoe. But fringe world level, no more, no less for him. I think he's got a few years left, but Garcia, he needs to move up onwards and upwards now for Ryan Garcia.